Hi, I'm Damien Wells, Chief Pilot and owner of GoFly Aviation. Welcome to this week's GoFly Tips. And we're going to discuss what happens if we have a flap failure. The pre-landing checks, brakes on occasion, fuel, patches and harnesses, all secure. Okay, so you often won't know your flap has failed until you need it. So for instance, you're on downwind, you're about to turn onto base leg, and you select flap and nothing happens. First thing you want to do is check that the fuse hasn't popped, and you may be, if it's popped, you might be able to put the fuse back in, or the circuit breaker back in, and get those flaps working again. But we're going to assume today that I've gone to select flap and they have actually failed. So what we've got to remember, when we don't have flap, we don't have as much drag, and we have a higher stall speed. So we need to make our approach speed a little bit faster. And because we don't have flaps down with not as much drag, our approach profile won't be as steep. So we need to make it a bit wider than we would normally, because our approach profile will be flatter than normal. So nothing changes. We're still using our attitude for airspeed and power to control our rate of descent, but we're just making the circuit a lot wider. Keep in mind we'll need more runway. Your radio call. Cloud traffic sling 8668, 630 base runway 05 full stop Caloundra. So at the moment I've got 0 flap. So my normal approach speed in a sling aircraft is 70 knots. So I'm going to do about 75 knots and bring it back to about 70 knots over the fence. Of course our stall speed is higher. We need to make our approach speed slightly higher. Got a bit of a crosswind here today on runway 05 at Caloundra. Our airspeed is a little bit higher. We have a simulated flap failure. Now keep in mind, because we don't have flap out, we don't have as much drag, so our airspeed can increase quite rapidly because we have quite a slippery airframe now. And our approach profile will be shallower than what we're normally used to. And also keep in mind we'll be using more runway. So we can see now we've got quite a shallow approach profile. We're holding 75 knots. And like any other landing, it's not really much of an emergency having a flap failure, but be ready to go around if you find you're too low or too fast, or the airspeed's getting away from you. Quite a bit of turbulence here today. Quite a bit of crosswind. Coming down, keeping the airspeed healthy. Back to 70 knots. Over the threshold, straightening up, bit of crosswind. Holding it there, holding it there, holding it there. There we go. See, we landed a little bit faster than we would normally. Don't be too eager to come on the brakes, unless you're running in the wrong way. Keeping the aileron into wind.